Hey, welcome back. I'm Seren the Healer, and this is another monthly love reading by design. I'm going to start with an archetype from our Sacred Forest Oracle. Then I'm going to pull an overall message with the Light Seers Tarot. And then I'm going to pull a card for each design type from the Tarot of Sexual Magic. But these cards I have to keep face down because I don't want to show the images that are on these cards on the channel. All right, so you guys just got to trust me for what this one says. All right, let's get started. Okay, Scorpio, what I see is a situation where you feel like you're in a relationship that is stalled. You feel like you've given a lot of energy and you've pretty much tried everything and you're not getting the results that you expected or that you wanted from this connection with this person. Either you feel like they're not as interested or into it as you are, or they're just not, they're giving it as little effort as possible, or it's something to that effect, to where you feel like it's disproportionate. I've come up with different ideas for different ways for us to connect. I've been planning our dates and, the concerts that we go to and all of that sort of thing, and you're just along for the ride, and it makes me feel like you don't care, or, that sort of thing, right? And I feel like this is a situation that you've been quiet about. I mean, naturally, you're Scorpio, right? So you haven't said anything about it yet, but on the inside, you're keeping score about what you've done and what this person has done or what they haven't done, or the areas where you feel like they should have done something and they didn't, and things like that. I also feel like there's a disconnect from yourself, in the way of you're so focused on this person and what they're doing and what they want and how to get through to them, how to get what you want out of them, how to get, more words, more response, more energy back from this person, that you're not giving that sort of energy to yourself. You haven't been spending enough time alone. You haven't been, and the time that you do spend alone, all of your focus, all of your attention, all of your energy is still on this person. You know, you're doing things in preparation for when you get back to this person. You're thinking about what you want to say when the next time you talk to this person. You're rehashing, relitigating, going back over conversations and arguments that you had with this person, instead of, you know, replenishing your energy or doing something that benefits you and makes you feel cheerier and puts you in a higher vibration, you know. So you're meeting this person in a vibration of, you're not doing what I want you to do. You're not being who I want you to be. And you're not really focused on whether or not you're being who you want to be, how you're showing up in the relationship, if it's true to yourself and who you are, or if you're bending and contorting and changing and doing things just to try and get a specific response without any consideration for how you feel about being that person. You know, if that is true to yourself, or if it's what you want to do for, you know, the duration of the relationship or not. So for generators, there's a specific situation that happens either this month or that happened last month, where it's like you planned a party, or you did something that took a lot of resources, a lot of energy. Maybe you called in favors that people owed you in order to orchestrate something to either help this person or surprise this person or to fix a problem that this person had. And ever since that, you've kind of felt like there's a disconnect between you and your significant other. And you may not have actually taken the time to untangle all of those feelings that are involved in that, but it's kind of like a expectation versus reality type of situation that happened there. And I feel like our archetype cards are telling you directions for what you need to do to get out of that energy. So first off, it's going back to your protection, going back to taking care of your own energy, going back to your energy strategy. What are you doing for rest? What are you doing for play? What are you doing to rejuvenate, right? How are you protecting your vibration from dropping too low, you know? How are you showing up for yourself? Those sorts of things, right? Are you utilizing crystals? Are you praying? Are you, you know, those sorts of things. And then intentionally spending time in flow. So be it a craft project, something that you like to make, something that you like to create that gets you into that flow state. Maybe it's a game that you like to play. Maybe it's running. Maybe it's a competitive sport, you know, something that you do where you can switch into that flow state and get back to your connection with your higher self, you know, get back to your highest capacity, get back to your growth in your path, right? The meandering pathway card is actually about when something happens, or when you make a decision that feels like it's diverging from your original path, from your original course, when your path from where you are to where you want to be is not a straight line, but it meanders, right? It's trusting that you can still get to where you're going, even if you're taking a winding path, even if you're taking the scenic route, right? You can still get there, and not losing hope or losing faith because you went left when you felt like everybody else went right, or you went right when you felt like your path should have been straight, right? Okay, manifesting generators. Oh, I feel like this is like a jealousy thing. And the way I most commonly explain it or see this is something I was just talking to one of my clients about earlier. It's when you're connected to someone who is here, they're in flow, right? And they are doing exactly what is right for them. They are vibing high, they are in a great place, and you're not. There's a jealousy that happens there because we innately know that that's where we're meant to be. We all know that. But we've allowed all of our other goals to pull us away from that, with responsibility, with obligation, with, goals, wanting to get to a certain status or achieve a certain thing, right? We allow all sorts of things to pull us away from that. So when you're doing that, you're dutifully, not focusing on what feels great for you and what you actually want to do and where you actually want to be. And you're suffering that, right? Anybody that dares to ignore all of those things or finds a way to line them all up so that they can still do this and achieve goals is going to be really you're not going to be able to look at them and be happy while you're suffering, right? So with this card being one that makes me think of jealousy, I don't feel like it's, the typical manifestation of jealousy, but it's more like that's kind of where your vibration got off, where it got off track was with looking at somebody else who was in their element and doing what was right for them in a moment when you were so far from that it caused you pain, and from that moment on you felt this disconnect that I was talking about with your partner, where you feel like the energy is off balance, you're giving more than you're getting back, that sort of thing, right? And so, again, the message here is to go into a state of protection of your energy, which would be this card upright, and to then refocus on an activity or an area of your life where you easily slip into flow state. And do that as many, schedule it. Do it as many times throughout the month as you can in order to get yourself feeling better. Now, I'm not saying anybody's goal should be to be vibing high and just at peak elation at all times. But I am saying that with the way that things go, with the amount of responsibilities a normal adult human has, it is a lot easier to get bogged down in the heavier vibrations by default, without trying, than it is to vibe high, right? It just naturally is. There are so many things vying for your attention. There are so many things that are pulling at you that feel important, that can drop your vibration incrementally, right? And so when we don't tend to our energy, that's just naturally what happens. It's not a bad thing. It's not a thing that we should be afraid of. It's not a thing, like I'm not judging, in that way. I'm looking at the fact that we need balance. We need both. That's why both exist together, like the yin and yang symbol, right? They always exist together. Where there's light, there's dark. Where there's dark, there's light, right? So it's because there's meant to be a balance there. So anytime we get too far into one side or the other, there's going to be problems, right? You're going to feel like something's missing. You're going to feel like something's off. You're going to feel disconnected, right? And so with the tendency being more to get bogged down, it becomes important, if you want to keep that balance, to schedule, to orchestrate the moments when you vibe high, to set that time aside, right? So your meditation time, your yoga time, your relaxation time, self-care time, your thinking for fun time, your breath work, your spending time with crystals, your moon rituals, those sorts of things where you're coming back to center to get a baseline, right, of where you're at. And then you do something to shift yourself a little bit higher so that it feels good. Shift yourself to a little bit higher so that you can get ideas. Shift yourself to a little bit higher so that you can hear from spirit, blah, 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 right? So, yeah. With that, jealousy, it's not really about the other person, but it feels like it's all about the other person. But what it really is a indication that it's time for you to shift. All right. So for manifestors, For manifestors, I feel like it's not jealousy, it's anger. You're at a place where it's like maybe you I don't know. Maybe you feel this person did something intentionally. To create that separation. Maybe it's a situation like what I was talking about with the generators, where you put something together for this person and you feel like their response to it was intentionally hurtful, right? In that case, it's time to go into protection in a different way. You might need to shift your focus away from this person and limit their access, like get to the point to where you're looking at resolving the relationship. But I honestly think that approaching your anger from an internal way. I'm looking at this Hermit in reverse, man. And for me, it's right side up because I'm upside down to you guys, obviously. Manifestor anger comes from a lack of peace. The opposite end of their spectrum is peace. So if you feel like someone is intentionally messing with your peace as a manifestor, that's always going to make you extremely angry, Even if, you know, you're not able to acknowledge it as anger straight away, maybe you're pushing it down. I feel like most of the manifestors I know, they are very aware of their anger, whether they feel safe to express it ever or not. But anytime you give someone credit for how you feel, you're giving them power over you. So if you're saying this person is making me mad, right? You're giving them that power. You're giving them that credit for how you feel. Whereas when you go into protection, when you unify your focus, when you go in, you call all your power to yourself, and you're looking at, okay, how am I getting myself into situations where I'm feeling this anger, you know? Or, okay, say for instance, it's a situation where, yes, it was 100% this person's fault. They were mean, they were awful, they were icky, right? Okay. As long as you leave the ball in that person's court about whether or not you can be happy again or to stop, you know, calm the anger again, then that's where that power is. That's where it stops. So literally everything else that you do until that person gives you back the right response, you're sitting in anger, right? Which wreaks havoc on your body, which wreaks havoc on your manifestations, and, you know, therefore can affect your living, your money, your all kind of things, right? So even if it's that person's fault, you if you can get to a place where that doesn't matter and you want to feel better, you want things to go better, you want to resolve things, then you can move that vibration by yourself, right? Which I feel like is very important to manifestors. You guys like being in control of the way things play out for you, you know? That's the way to do it in that situation. You have to make what they did less important than what you're gonna do now, if that makes sense. Okay. Projectors. For projectors, this whole situation is a catalyst for you guys to get closer. The only catch is you have to go to this person and talk to them about how you're feeling before it gets to, the feelings get bigger than your words, okay? So what I mean by that is when you hold emotion in, emotion is meant to, you know, flow, to move like water, right? So when you dam it up and hold it back, the longer you hold it like that, the more and more pressurized it gets until that dam breaks. Once the dam breaks, you have no control. That water is going wherever it wants to go. It's going to soak everything. It's going to break stuff, whatever. There's nothing you can do, right? But while it's just a little stream, a little, you know, creek, a little tributary, what have you, it's easier to manage, right? And it is power. It is, it's its own type of energy, right? You can use to manifest things. And I feel like this is a perfect place to manifest the version of your relationship that you actually want from this, you know? So it's an opportunity to cultivate a culture between you and your partner of, we don't do that to each other, you know? By having that conversation and coming to that agreement, you know? I don't like it when we go to a place together and we leave separately, you know? That makes me feel like we're gonna break up soon, you know? And talking to that person, like, how could you take an Uber? Like, I understand we were in a fight, but taking an Uber like that feels too final. It feels too big. It feels, wherever you're at with the situation, just voicing it, explaining it so that that person can understand what's going on inside of you. And I feel like for a projector, that might feel, it might be hard. Because you guys are used to seeing things that aren't expressed and aren't said. So, you feel like you want that back. You need that back, But you have to know that unless you are with another projector, it's not likely that they're going to see in the octaves, the ways that you see. And then with, being a projector, even that other person, might have a whole different lens, whole different spectrum that they're oriented to, right? So we have to give words. We have to assign words to our emotions when there are other people involved. When you're just by yourself, it doesn't matter if you can't name what you're feeling. Just let your, emotions do what they're going to do. It'll be over in a minute, right? But when there's other people involved, it's more important to put words to what's going on so that you can share it, so that it can manifest, right? Once you put words to something, then it becomes real. You can, someone else can share in that experience with you. And with the relationship, that's all you want. That's really all you want. So instead of sticking to that, they should already know, let them in. And let that be a catalyst. Let that be the beginning of a new culture with your person. Reflector is in a position where you're the one that feels detached. So you're more aware of what happened before all of this than your partner. They're noticing your detachment and wondering what's going on. And you're likely holding on to something, that affected you from last month. And I can't remember what was going on with Scorpio reflectors last month to tie that up in a bow, but I know we were all looking for the bluebird of happiness. And now we're protecting our energy and going into flow. So for reflectors, that to your partner, it feels like you're taking a step away from the relationship or from them. So it might take the same thing as the projectors, a conversation to let them in on what's going on with you so that you're on the same page and so that you're not stirring up anxiety within them that then snowballs into you guys breaking up prematurely. All right. So that is what I see. I think I'm going to pull you guys one more card from my new deck that I am super excited about working with. really glossy, so they don't really overhand rifle that well, but we'll see. See if we get one. I'm wanting to vacuum seal to each other. All right. Oh. I believe that is 2 of, oh my goodness, the suits on these. I haven't learned yet. Two of Swords? Yeah. Okay. 2 of Swords. Refusing to see. 2 of Swords. All right. So I'm just going to read you guys the description for this card because, like I said, it's a new deck. This card speaks about how important it is to see relationships as they really are rather than how you'd like them to be. This is not always an easy or comfortable thing to do. However, in order to make correct decisions in a relationship, you must be clear about it. Are you maintaining the status quo even though the current situation may not meet your needs? Are you at an emotional impasse in a matter of the heart? At this time, you may be withdrawing emotionally from a relationship or the need to make a decision regarding that relationship. Oh my gosh, this is exactly this reading, right? This does not serve your best interests. You must open your eyes and your heart to the truth by honestly assessing the situation. You'll know just what you need to do. Knowing the truth will make your decision easier and will lead you to more fulfilling relationships. Wow. Oh my goodness, that just gave me chills. So this is, it's the 2 of Swords. 2 of Swords is not here anywhere, but it speaks exactly to this reading. That is so cool. All right, so I went way over time. That's all I've got for you guys, and I will see you back here. Actually, I'm still doing my weeklies, so check those out if you want to see a breakdown of how the energy goes from week to week. And I'll see you back here, hopefully, next month. Bye now. Nothing but this moment.